Me and my college professor of computer science really enjoy talking about things like our projects outside of college and in general nerdy stuff like that, which I'm very thankful for because it's cool when your professor cares. Anyhow, today he comes up to me and he says the government has assigned to me a new project that has to do with religion. In Greece, basically, people are Christian Orthodox, and so his project had to do with that religion because obviously it's gonna be in Greek schools. So that's a village. That's cool. Anyhow, so I say to him, oh, that's really hilarious that you have to do that. And he goes like, yeah, kind of. And we were chatting and he says, we have so many saints that I better use AI to make their descriptions, right? Jokingly, he said. So I say to him, oh, that is very interesting because it reminds me of the Catholic AI chatbot that was a thing a while ago. He goes like, oh, I don't know about it, what is up? And I explained to him and I show him videos.
Are there documents of the ordinary magisterium which allow for the death penalty historically?
Historically, there are documents of the ordinary magisterium, which is the teaching office of the church exercised by the Pope and the bishops in union with him, that have permitted the use of the death penalty in certain circumstances. The Roman Catechism of the Council of Trent, for example, states that the power of life and death is permitted to certain civil magistrates because theirs is the responsibility under law to punish the guilty and protect the innocent. It goes on to say that far from being guilty of breaking this commandment, such an execution of justice is precisely an act of obedience to it.
I tell him how me and many other people on YouTube have managed to make that AI say some insane sexist stuff, and we were laughing about it, and he says to me, and that is where things really went downhill. He says to me that, oh yeah, now these Catholics and some of the Orthodox are very crazy and they don't know anything. And I'm like, wait, does this guy, could it be that I found a guy that knows about philosophy and religion? No, it can't be. Because when you say to someone that, oh, these people don't know, in general, you mean that you do, right? If I say that, oh, these guys don't know nothing about coding, that was a double negative anyhow, they don't know nothing about coding, you would imagine that I know at least the basics, right? And that is where the hilarity takes place. Because after that, I ask him, well, are you Orthodox? And he goes like, yes, of course I'm Orthodox. And he goes like, why? What are your beliefs? And I say, oh, well, I'm agnostic. He goes, what is that? By the way, agnostic is a Greek word which comes from the word agnostikos, which means to not know. So what could it... Okay, I'm not judging anyone, I did not laugh or anything, I just straight up explained to him that it means that I'm not sure if God exists or not, but I'm pretty certain personally that the biblical God cannot exist. The thing about this video today is that I do not care about what anyone believes at, the thing is how you treat what you believe, because I've talked to many atheists, many agnostics that have the same problem as my professor, you will find out. So I explain my religion point of view, he explains his, and he goes like, oh, how come you not believe, like what is the problem? And I explain all the issues that I have with the biblical God, and I start with the problem of evil and they do not understand it. So I'm like, wait guys, do you not think that emotions come from God? And they go like, no. And I'm like, wait, where did the emotions come from then? He goes like, humans made it. They said that humans made emotions. And I go like, well, with that logic, shouldn't we see new emotions come up? One kid says yes. And I'm like, alright, cool, I guess your beliefs have many holes then, but at least you know what you're talking about. The professor could not answer that question. Because obviously it's just a bunch of baloney, nobody believes that emotions came from humans, but these guys did. It's the first time that I'm hearing this. Let me know if anyone else has told you that God did not make the idea of emotions, but humans made them. That does not make any sense. And anyhow, I kind of explained to them why what they're saying is insane in a very calming fashion. I did not go full screamer mode, although I could have. Anyhow, I was very patient with them, they did not know what to answer, and at some point the kid that talked even had an existential crisis when I talked to him about many things that I think are wrong, and for some reason, in the most dumb way possible, he says, oh wait, well yes, the Bible obviously is stupid because at some point it says that cousins should not marry each other. But Adam and Eve, obviously they had in the chain to have done that, and I'm like, these guys are... They don't know anything about anything. They're disingenuous, dense motherfuckers, as one would say. I told him that no, theologians have many ways to explaining this, and I went on and explained it to him. That does not matter, but that shows how, you know, not knowing anything about your beliefs can lead to you seeming incredibly idiotic, right? Anyhow, but nothing against these people, right? The crazy thing is that a bit later on, we were talking about other stuff. I went on and on about other things, and they were telling me all kinds of insane stuff that, if I'm being honest, I do not remember. I explained to them, I had to explain to them that in the Bible, you know, the evil came to us after the first humans sinned. That is what the church says, right? That is what the Bible says. That basically Adam and Eve were perfectly fine until they sinned. They did not know that, apparently. So I had to explain to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, of course." So I was like, "Why was there unnecessary pain with dinosaurs?" And they go like, "Oh well, we did not know." The kid goes like, the other kid in my class goes like, "Oh well, we didn't know if dinosaurs killed each other." And I'm like, "Well, we do, because we see that they were carnivores." And he goes like, "Oh, how do you know that?" I'm like, "Well, we know from their biology. We can see that they clearly ate meats." And he was like, "Okay, and then how do we know that the fossils are old?" And I'm like, "Do you know about carbon dating?" He goes like, "No." And I mean, okay, carbon dating is not the most accurate thing, but it's extremely accurate for that purpose, right? For that purpose, it's extremely accurate. I think we could all agree to that. And my professor, after being silent for a second, turns around and says to me, "How do we know that dinosaurs existed?" And I'm like, alright, he has to start making like a different point. He cannot just say that. Like I thought he would go somewhere else with it. But no, he just told me that he does not believe in dinosaurs. And you know, since I'm a huge nerd and I watch philosophy channels on YouTube, subscribe to Alex O'Connor and my channel, obviously, you have to subscribe anyhow. And you know, many other people with other points of views, like Cliff. I really enjoy watching Cliff, which he's a Christian, but he's very valid in many of his points. And I know many things to say to these people. I explained to him that basically he's neglecting a whole branch of science by saying that, and that every single scientist that he himself could have been, if he wanted and tried, he could have been working on fossils. So every single person had to be lying, and he goes like, "Oh well, I'm not saying that it's a lie, it's just a very well thought out plan." And at that point, I just gave up on my professor. Like that was insane what I just heard. And he told me, "Oh well, we can continue the conversation next Wednesday, you know, because that's when we have class with him again." And you know, what is the point of this video? Oh wait, also a parenthesis, they also did not know anything about the Ark of the Covenant, which was surprising to me. It's completely mad. But yeah, the point of this video is not to make fun of my professor and my classmates. It is just to like, you know, talk about a lesson that you should not talk about topics that you have no experience in. I'm telling you, they did not know the most basics from the Bible, the most basic things they did not know, and they claim they're Orthodox. So yeah, I really hope that my fan base and my viewers understand where I'm coming from. Once again, maybe they were the atheist and I was the Christian. The same problem would ensue. I would still be talking about this. It's not about what they believe, it's about how they defend it and how much they've searched into it. Oh yes, and the last thing is that they said that humans made logic. Dude, you're a computer science professor, and I mean, yeah, that has nothing to do, right? That has nothing to do with anything, but I expected him to have a better view on life. Anyhow, nerds, I really hope you learned a lesson to not talk when you don't know anything about anything, because you're gonna end up in a Loquacious Kosmo video that will get 20 views. Anyhow, subscribe to my channel, nerds.